What's up, people? So, I wanted to talk about mental health, as always, seems like. I wanted to talk about medication. So, I was for a very long time very against taking medication. It scared me, honestly. That's the main reason I didn't want to take it, because I know that it can make you more suicidal, or I just didn't want to be like different in a bad way. And I just assumed that that's how it was gonna change me in a bad way. Um, but when I was put on medication, I was in a very controlled environment. Um, and I got to try out medications and like every day tell somebody how it made me feel, um, which it took away like the scariness of it, because if I was feeling a certain way, I could be like, hey, like this shit's not working for me, like we need to try something else. um but yeah, so now I'm on medication. I'm on medication for anxiety, depression, OCD. I think that's it. Mood stabilizers, just overall medication to chill out my mood and make me a little less anxious and a little less, I don't know, crazy. I don't like to say it that way, but it's kind of true. Um, so yeah, I started taking medication. And I just want to talk about like the difference between before and after taking medication. So before, for me, I had a really big issue with sounds, which I've talked about in a video prior to this. When I hear certain sounds, it instantly gives me that like fight or flight instinct. It makes me instantly just really honestly want to jump off a cliff. Like that's my first thought, is like I want to die for some reason. I don't know why, and nobody can tell me why, but that's just something that I experience and I've experienced for most of my life. Um, so now I can be around people eating chips and eating certain foods and making certain noises, and I notice the noises, but I don't have that reaction, which for me is absolutely life changing, because now I can be around family and friends and not constantly worry about the fact that something they're gonna do is gonna trigger like this awful reaction in me. Um, so yeah, that's one big difference. I also don't have any of my, for the most part, physical symptoms of anxiety. So before, I would feel anxiety in my chest a lot. Um, my back used to hurt a lot more than it does now. I used to be just a lot more tense in general. Um, Overall, like I was just constantly balled up, full of stress, and I feel a lot more relaxed now. I feel like I can breathe. I don't feel like somebody's sitting on top of my chest at all times. Um, I mean, there's still situations where, like, you would normally be nervous. Like, being nervous is a normal reaction to certain situations. So I still get that, and it feels more like pit of your stomach kind of nervous, which is natural and normal for a person, rather than being so nervous that you can't breathe. So that's a big difference. Like, that's another thing that was impacting my life pretty greatly, is just me feeling balled up constantly and just not being able to do anything, because I was constantly anxious about everything, like literally everything. So that's one way the medication has helped me. Another way is with my depression. I'm still experiencing depression, but it's not as deep and it's not as solid as it normally is. So for me, like when I'm depressed, it almost seems like a cloud over me, or like a ball of just darkness that's inside of me. And now it seems like, you know, just like softer and not as intense and not as out of control, I guess. So now when I feel depressed, I can really manage it a lot better, and I can understand, like, okay, this is how I'm feeling. Here are some coping skills that I can use, but the medication is also really helping me, like, kind of tone down the depression a little bit. The only thing that it hasn't helped me with as much is OCD, which I'm taking a medication that's supposed to help with it, and it has helped, but one part of obsessive compulsive disorder is intrusive and obsessive thoughts, which I still continue to have. It's definitely not as bad as it used to be. Like, I can not ignore it, but like, I'm not as distracted by it now, which is freaking awesome, rather than me constantly just thinking the same thing over and over and over again, and I can't do anything other than that, which really affected my life a lot before too. So, and I don't think that things are contaminated all the time. Like, I'm still having issues with that, but like, I'm not as bad as I was. Like, I can eat foods that have been left out more than like 5 minutes and like, I can drink out of a water bottle that's, you know, been sitting on my nightstand one night. Like, I don't know if that makes sense, but like, I have a bad habit of convincing myself that stuff was contaminated that wasn't, that, and it didn't make any sense for it to even be contaminated. So I have definitely gotten over that a little bit, which again is pretty life-changing. So overall, I would say that the medication is working really well for me. I think there's still a few like tweaks that we could do to like really get the right combination. But overall, I feel pretty good about where I'm at right now with medication. And the reason I'm making this video is for the people that are out there that are just like, I'll never try it. I'll never try medication. I'm just gonna be miserable. I'm just gonna try to exercise and work out and figure out how to be happy. I'm not saying that that's not gonna work for you. By all means, do what you want to do and do what you think will make you happy, but I would say definitely if you can do it in a safe and controlled environment, maybe try medication, just because you don't know if it's going to change your life or not. Like, for me, it's impacted my life really greatly, like in an amazing way that I never thought was possible. And there's gonna be people out there who don't agree with me and agree with what I'm saying, but I just want to make sure that people stay alive, I guess, because I know how hard it is to fight that battle for so long with nothing, with no tools, with nothing. No coping skills, no medication, no support group, nothing. So, if anything, like, you don't have to be on medication at all. I would say just try to reach out if you need something. You can reach out to me too, like, if you want to. You can message me on here, just so you have somebody, because it's very difficult to do all this alone. So reach out. Bye.